Terminator 2.
Yep.
I've seen Terminator 2.
I'm just making sure.
Have you seen this?
I don't
boy?
know if you're pussified all around in all genres or just
no. Guns N' Roses
genre.
wrote a song for that movie. Of course, I saw it.
What?
Guns N' Roses, "You Could Be Mine" was written for Terminator 2.
Is it in the movie?
Somehow I never knew
Yes,
that.
when
What
they're
part?
riding the motorcycle.
The best
When
part.
I come home late at night, don't fucking ask me where I've been.
When he's got the
Just
boombox on the
count
back.
your stars, I'm
Yeah.
home
You're talking about when he's riding the moped?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? The moped.
I don't fucking
Sorry,
know.
listeners. Yeah, and then they go to the ATM and he pulls out his keyboard and like sticks the thing in.
Oh, I
Easy
love that he
money.
pulls out like $500 worth of cash and they go to the arcade. That's exactly what I would do.
Everyone's going to be like, the title of the episode said Frailty,
Right,
and they're
not
clearly
Terminator
talking
2.
about Terminator 2.
But,
Welcome to the Horror Virgin. I'm Clint.
I am the Virgin Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
We just got done watching Frailty.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I
You weren't scared by this, were
No.
you?
There was one jump
moment
scare.
when I literally thought I shit myself, and
Shit all over the couch.
other
It's
than
nice.
that, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would not. I mean, this is sort of like The Shining to me, except The Shining had more scares than
Have you
this
seen
did.
The Shining?
Yeah, because it's not a scary movie.
Because it's a terrible movie.
What?
Damn.
I can't.
Are you bringing this out?
I'm
Are you
sorry,
bringing this out early?
Listener, we'll have an episode about it.
We're gonna have a big fat like 3-hour episode on that
Oh
because
my
you got
God.
some
to
shit you got to get
say.
out.
Yeah.
Gross. But yeah, I like The Shining. I think it's a fine movie. This movie wasn't bad. It just wasn't.
You liked
So you liked it? Yeah.
I mean, I learned that if you're a white Texan, for you, God is real, and that allows you to murder people. And
Yeah.
also,
and that law enforcement
get
will
away
let
with
you do
it.
whatever you want.
Not
Well,
everyone
yeah.
is a demon slayer, Todd.
well, I mean,
But you do
spoiler
have to
alert,
believe to be a demon slayer.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Clearly. Okay, before we start, I wanted to say that we are super impressed that you guys have been rating and reviewing the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
So much so that we are going to do a contest and give away mugs for those who rate and review the podcast. So make sure you both rate and
Not
review
just
it.
any mugs.
They
Well, yeah,
What kind of mugs are they?
Good. They've got the HV cherry logo on one side and then the Horror Virgin full text logo on the other side. And we're going to be giving them away. I think we're going to give away at the next podcast. We're going to get the whole list of all the people who have actually rated and reviewed the podcast on iTunes. And we are going to pull 3 names out next time.
Yeah.
And we're going to send you guys 3 mugs. Well,
Yeah.
1
Ooh.
each.
Yes.
Right. If you do a review, for those of you who haven't done a review yet, if you do one, throw it on a screenshot and tweet it at us or send it to us on Instagram or whatever, and we'll get you in.
We'll put you in the
It's
drawing,
really easy. Yeah, it's really easy to do. Just get it done. And we already have 38, I think, as of right now,
I think
Oh,
so.
that's cool.
which is sort of insane. There
That's
are podcasts,
better than 0.
Oh,
That's
there are
true.
podcasts that have.
That's better than
they're
5.
much bigger than we are that have like 8. But we're trying to get the word out, and that's a really good way for people to find us. So we figured we do a contest and give away some cool swag like a mug.
Why didn't they just call this movie
Clearly.
Demon Slayer?
Well, they originally were going to call it God's Hands.
Really? That's a cool title too.
Yeah.
Also, still hasn't been used. It should have been called Otis as well. I thought that would have been a.
Otis would have been a
Would've
much
been a
better
cool
name
title.
for it. The name of the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Todd, you had never really heard of this movie
No.
before
Lots
today.
of people haven't heard of this movie.
It's not really a great movie, and I feel like
liked it.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
This movie, I think, is the shit.
Yeah, I really like this.
really.
I do.
I didn't hate it. Like it's good. It's a good movie. I just prefer to see Bill Paxton chasing twistas.
Yeah.
And
Well,
not,
everybody.
Or
Okay, you
Terminator.
can't just bust. That's my favorite movie. You can't just bust that out.
Is that really your all-time favorite
I
movie?
love Twister.
It's my all-time favorite movie. It's not what I consider to be the best movie. Matter of
Right.
fact, it's not a very good movie, but it is my
there's some
favorite
good
movie
parts.
that I have seen the most. Maybe Die Hard is up there too.
Yeah,
I can't remember which one I've
Yeah.
seen the most, but I am obsessed with tornadoes. If they would just make another tornado movie,
Right.
any tornado movie, it might take over.
Have you not
as my number
seen-
1? But
Sharknado.
I have.
Starring Tara Reid.
We're talking about theatrical, Todd.
Oh.
My bad.
Yeah, they made
Doesn't
that
count
one
if
called
it's not
Into the
theatrical.
Storm.
My bad.
And that I wasn't a fan of that.
Geostorm?
I didn't see Geostorm. Is that
either.
have tornadoes in it? I don't think it.
I mean, I don't know.
You're like, I don't really care about this conversation. I'm just saying
The
that.
length of this conversation is way out of proportion to my interest in it.
I do like Day After Tomorrow, though.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
that only has like maybe like 5 minutes of tornadoes.
Is that
But-
the one where Americans are like rushing the Mexican border?
Yeah.
Correct.
That
And
shit
Mexico
is
lets them
so
in.
yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal fights wolves.
That
Yeah.
shit is so
And
happens too.
hilarious. this.
Okay, so 2002.
Yes.
This movie made no money. Well, I'm a little convinced that it probably did well on DVD, but we couldn't find those numbers.
Like how you said we couldn't find. I just didn't look.
You didn't look?
No.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what
those
to
numbers
look
are
for
available apparently on a couple of sites, but I'm not going to pay for it. So, what theatrically? What did we say it did? It cost
17 million?
Yeah, and it cost
Worldwide,
like 12 or 13 million.
Said 11.
Okay. So it broke even.
Yeah.
I don't see them spending a lot of money on marketing for this.
Yeah,
Clearly, we're staring at the
critically
very
acclaimed though. Like I read a Roger Ebert review of it, and he loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it until Stephen King wrote some great rave review of it too, and that's why I watched it.
It does feel, and you said last week it's like a Stephen King type movie.
It is
and
very,
it very
Stephen
much
King.
is because the twist is that at the end, should we ruin
I
it?
don't think
we're
it matters.
spoiling it.
I mean,
So the twist is that God is real and that they were killing demons. So you just think the whole movie that maybe we should just go through the plot because
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess we should say the reason why we wanted to do an episode on this is because in horror circles this is a very popular movie,
Right.
Really?
Right.
And I haven't really seen a lot of other podcasts do it, and so I'm like, let's do it. Let's
Right.
fucking do it.
Plus,
This
I
is
really
fun.
like this movie, and I wanted to watch
We
it.
love
again.
watching it.
This
yeah.
Also, I own it, so we didn't have to find it anywhere.
This is a movie that I would not classify as horror.
Really?
Yeah,
I would.
at
okay,
all.
but you were talking to me about Get Out, and you've seen Get Out,
Yeah.
right? And that's a horror movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say Get Out is horror?
Yeah. Where do you think that you would find Frailty and Get Out if video stores still existed? What section would you find them in if they weren't in horror?
I honestly don't know. That's a good question. I
Yeah.
mean, probably in horror, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not like the classic like slasher type horror movie that I
Right.
think of when I think of horror.
Okay, that's true because you've seen like 5 horror movies, so that makes
right,
sense.
right.
We're opening
Yeah.
your eyes to some
Yeah,
different
that's
stuff
fair, that's
here.
fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
But
But
like-
actually, this one was inspired by like Psycho and Hitchcock, so it is more of a classic horror movie than a lot of the stuff that we've already watched.
I agree.
Okay, I could see that.
Like it's not a slasher, and
Right.
it's not.
I mean, the only Hitchcock movie I think I've seen is North by Northwest, which is a great movie. Really?
No,
It's
that's
the
not a
birth
horror
of
movie.
the action film. It's not a horror movie. It's the first action
that's
film.
the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's
Like-
I mean, it doesn't hold up amazingly now, but
Well,
it's
none of
like
them do.
if you look at it, you're like, okay, I can see how you get John McClane from this at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Vertigo, I really like, and Rear Window.
I
know.
Silent
I
for
still
Murder?
get Vertigo
I don't
and
know,
real
I've seen it,
and Vertigo and Rear Window confused. I don't know why.
They both have Jimmy Stewart. Yeah. Okay, so USA.
Well, I don't know why we're getting murdered.
Is this USA?
Is that what Jimmy Stewart
Yeah,
said?
All night.
on Jimmy Stewart's birthday, they used to play all these Hitchcock movies with him in it.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, so I used to watch them all. And The Man Who Knew Too Much, I think, was one of them, but I didn't like that one.
All right, so should we start going through this movie?
Yeah, so first movie, only movie I'm pretty sure, theatrical movie directed by Bill Paxton.
Pretty
I think
sure.
I'm not positive, I need to look it up. I know that he's directed some television, like I think he directed some Hatfield and McCoy.
So he never
stuff like
he
that.
never directed after this?
I don't think so.
Really?
Theatrically, yeah.
I
Look
don't
it up
think it
to
was-
make sure he
Look it up.
didn't.
I
If
said-
he had, it would have been a very small movie that I wouldn't remember. But
I don't think it was bad. I think he did fine.
he
Like,
had to fight. He had to fight pretty hard to get the. I mean, he was cast first before
Oh,
he
yeah,
decided
was
to
he?
come
Yeah.
on as director. And
Okay.
the producers were scared because they were like, this dude has never really directed before. So, but I thought he did a fine job.
yeah, me too.
And
I thought he great.
did a really good job at. Sometimes you can lose a little bit of your performance if you are the director of yourself because there's really nobody giving you guidance.
Right.
Right.
I thought he was great. I thought the kids were great.
Well, I don't know. Bill Paxton's a great actor. I don't know. I like him. I
That's
think he's a
true.
good
Yeah,
actor.
he's
So,
got
like,
he's got the charisma. Like if he
He's
showed
got a
up
very
and told us to
expressive
murder
face,
people,
too.
we'd be like, all right.
he and the president from Independence Day, I always confuse.
Bill
Bill
Pullman.
Pullman.
Yeah.
Well, one
I
of
like
them
Bill
is significantly better than the other.
I
Let's
mean,
just get that out
one
of,
of
the way.
them
But yes,
gave
I do
the
like Bill
best-
Pullman as well.
One of them gave the best speeches to pump up the Air Force to take on aliens.
Well, you know what?
And one of them took on a twister. So
Another
you decide
one
who's
can
better.
sense tornadoes. So fuck off.
And one of them
He
got
sniffs
to
the dirt, Todd.
Right.
and one of them got to fuck Helen Hunt.
Okay.
Isn't she the love
That is
interest
not
in
confirmed.
Twister?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you meant in real life. I was like,
Oh,
is that
no.
confirmed?
No,
Is there something
no.
about Twister I don't know?
Oh, that Twister set was real handsy.
This movie is short and tight and really gets to
Yeah.
the point very quickly. Like I think it's like the first 10 minutes, the whole setup is
So-
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you like Matthew McConaughey meets an FBI agent, power Powers Booth, and they
Love Powers Booth.
Yeah,
man.
Powers Booth is the
R.I.P..
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then it starts this whole flashback, and when we originally saw the flashback, I thought the flashback would be like maybe
just
like
a little
just
bit?
really short, and then that's the whole movie. The whole
Yeah.
movie's a flashback,
And that's a Stephen King thing.
which isn't bad. It's just I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
A lot of transitions in this movie. A lot of fades.
Oh yeah,
So many
Bill
fades.
Paxton loves his fades.
Even within the same scene, like somebody will be like washing their hands at the sink, and then it fades to them sitting at the dinner table. I'm
It's
like,
like-
you could have just showed them go to the.
Right.
It's like the cross dissolve just came out in Premiere Pro, so he was like, Bill Paxton was like, yeah, we gotta.
It's his
We gotta
first
put him
time,
on.
man. They're
Yeah.
like introducing him to Final Cut.
There are there are zero hard cuts in this movie.
That's probably
Zero
true.
hard cuts, unless you count what Otis does.
Oh.
Then there are quite a few hard cuts.
They do not show
Nailed
they do not show a single axe kill in this movie,
They don't.
except for the big one, I guess, when Paxton gets
No, they
gets killed,
don't.
but-
They
No,
don't show
they
the
don't
they
show
show
impact
it.
of
Yeah, they don't
They
show it striking
after.
him. I was very, very disappointed in that. I could have sworn I remembered. I haven't watched this in a long time. I could have sworn that they had shown him decapitating a couple of people, and it
Right.
just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So.
No.
I'm sure that the MPAA was like, we cannot have this happen while children are present.
That was part
You know what
of
I
it.
mean?
Yeah, I
Was
was
it?
reading a little bit about that because
Oh, okay.
there were some of the reviews were like, this is really disturbing because you're murdering a woman with an axe in front of like little kids. So I think that was part of it, and
I
they
don't see the problem.
intentionally did not show that stuff, probably because they would have had to pay more for it, and they had a small budget. But also, just like it's like a Hitchcock thing, like to not actually show it,
Yeah.
to kind of let
You
your
don't
mind
need
imagine
it.
You don't.
But
and I don't
and I mean,
hate it.
to counter your point, Todd, I mean, I still think the atmosphere is very spooky. The tone is spooky.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
storming the whole time. McConaughey and Powers Booth are doing
Yeah.
their thing.
Honestly, a little stormy between them too.
The Rose Garden's very creepy.
Sure.
I think it's got a very, very, very creepy tone to it.
I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't think it wasn't creepy. It just wasn't like scary.
Yeah.
It was
It's not
unsettling.
gory either.
It's also not gory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because they don't show any kills, really.
Right. But they show the faces of the kids, which, if you think about it, that's more disturbing than the actually like somebody getting knocked with an axe.
Yeah,
that
that's-
these kids are watching it, and what are they going to turn into? And what
That's
they
true.
did turn into was really terrible.
both of them.
Serial
Well,
killer and,
you could argue that one of them is just working for God,
If you
Jennifer.
truly believe.
I mean, honestly, this. Let's just get through the movie.
Yeah.
All right, so the flashback takes us back to like 1979. 1979.
Yeah.
So it's like the Bee Gees are big,
1979. Smashing
and
Pumpkins.
Everyone is still racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Texas.
But they don't
address that.
acknowledge
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There
They just
isn't a
don't have any
single
black
person of
people.
color in this movie. It is
Right.
very white. What town are they in? Do you remember? It's all a bunch of like no-name
Thurman?
towns. I can't.
think
Thurman is
Thurman.
where they grew up, and then
that's where the
where
kills take
is
place.
the
Yeah.
McConaughey? Are they still in the same town? McConaughey
No.
and Powers Booth. They're somewhere
no,
else in
they're
Texas,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Ernestine?
Aaron.
Yeah,
A bunch of
it's-
towns that don't fucking
Arnhem,
matter.
yeah.
Anyway,
Probably not real towns.
if anybody's listening from Thurman, Texas, go easy.
Tell us.
Yeah. Reach out to us at the Horror Virgin and tell us why.
Yeah.
Jen, I want to ask you this. When I saw the cover for this movie, because I did not see it in theater. Did you see it in theaters?
No.
Okay, I didn't either.
I don't think so.
Did it even play here? Probably just played in
Probably
New
not.
York and LA.
Maybe, yeah.
I remembered looking at the cover makes it look like Paxton and McConaughey are in the movie together.
Right.
And they're not.
Right, because they're father and son, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember being
McConaughey's
confused by that.
face is the one that's on the cover, and you don't even see Bill Paxton in the front of it, right?
Oh, I remember that. Isn't that the one
it's
where they
just
make
the
his
axe.
face look like a demon? Like they give him really creepy eyes. Like it's
don't
they just
remember.
make the poster look really spooky.
Well, because halfway for most of the movie, you think that he is the demon, right? He's the killer.
McConaughey?
No, that's right. You think he's the brother.
You think he's the older brother, Fenton.
Yes.
Right. And then we find out he's not.
Okay, hold
yeah.
on.
It does require a few viewings, I think, to really
Right.
catch everything.
Well, no,
Does
I think,
it?
Like the second time I watched it, I was
All the
trying to
little
keep
hints.
it straight because I knew what was going to happen. Yeah, and
Right.
I kept seeing those hints, and I was like, "Wait, but he's not really. But he's not."
Right. And
I
also,
saw-
we don't want Todd to,
yeah,
We don't want to
you
cue
called
Todd.
it,
I
right
saw.
before.
Did you?
Yes, I saw every twist coming down to the point where he was God's actual servant. Like I could have written
But
this
you
movie
guessed
while
that he
I
was the
taking
older,
a shit
that he was the was the younger brother,
Yes.
though? That's interesting.
Well, but the
okay.
kid looks just like Matthew McConaughey.
He does.
I suppose. I think
But
both
yeah.
those kids look like him.
I don't think I saw it coming the first time.
There
I
were a
watched
few
it.
moments where they showed the younger kid's eyes, and then
and then they cut.
yeah,
over
and then they cut to
they
Matthew
star faded on
McConaughey's.
it.
Yeah, they star wiped.
Yeah, star wiped,
over.
that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty. I don't know. I thought it was pretty clear. Bill
Okay.
Paxton is not very subtle.
I'm just a dumbass. That's all.
But
No. I was with you the first time I watched it.
like 10 minutes into the movie, you realize that Bill Paxton's, well, you think that he's insane, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
God
Right.
chose him to murder 7 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of it is he shows up and he's like, I had a vision
Yeah.
in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. And of course, the oldest son is, it's in the middle of the night.
like,
you just had a dream,
right.
right? And then
And
Yeah.
why are you waking up to tell us?
I know that was so weird. And then
Yeah.
he had a line in there that I forgot the first time where he said, look, I didn't want to tell you and I wanted to spare you this information, but
Yeah.
the angel told me I had to tell you, which was a very long conversation to have with an angel. But
Because if I know anything about God, they really want to scar children.
Yeah.
They?
They got.
Yeah, I'm a Hindu
3 in 1.
apparently. Yeah.
And we get a little bit of what Paxton is seeing. It's like this. What was
like
he?
the
Oh, he's at the
angel-
car shop. Is I guess
Yeah.
the first time we see it,
He
right?
looked a little like Jason Clarke, with his like fiery machete,
Yep, that's a good one. Like a
Descending.
bearded Jason Clarke.
Who the
Yep.
fuck is
Root.
Jason?
0 Dark 30?
Oh.
Terminator Genesis. Todd.
Genocide.
It's
Genesis.
Genesis.
It's actually Genesis. It was Genesis for a while, and then they changed it to Genesis. Look it up. Look it up.
Genesis isn't a word.
I know. That's why that movie's stupid.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the Terminator movies have been very bad.
Okay, let's just back up for a second.
Yeah.
Uh,
Better watch it.
I would give you 2 of them. Two
Yeah.
of them
Which
were,
ones?
but I like to. Terminator
Terminator 2
go-
is the greatest movie ever made.
I agree.
Well, I wouldn't say greatest
well,
movie ever made, but
I liked it.
It's up there for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, it's got a Guns N' Roses song, and we talked about it earlier.
I go easy. I'll go easy on part 3.
I like
I think
part
it's a
3.
good time. It's still R. It's still got
Yeah.
some good action in it.
Yeah.
4, I'm
No.
easy. I go easy on
No.
4 too. I didn't
one's
hate 4,
4?
but it's definitely
No.
a step down.
It's when
That's the
John
one with
Connor-
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
But they went
Yeah, it was okay.
PG-13, and it was fucking pussified, and
Yeah, it was okay.
I can't. No, I wasn't
No.
a fan. And then Genesis was like,
It was
And I
really
didn't
bad.
see it.
yeah, like what the fuck?
I really
was
wish we.
that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
We should have a Terminator podcast. That would be
just
so much fun.
how would that work?
I can talk about Terminator 2 for years.
Are we gonna watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles too?
I watched
No.
that too.
On that,
It was
yeah.
pretty, it was okay.
Was it?
I mean,
You
it
know
had
she's
David
back,
Silver
right?
in it, right?
Lynn Hamilton's back. You know this?
From where?
They're making a new Terminator
Oh.
that
Are
disregards everything after 2.
Good.
James
Okay.
Cameron's writing and producing. Well, he has like a team of writers he's working with, and Tim Miller from Deadpool fame is directing. But
sounds awesome.
Linda Hamilton is coming back, and that's the
That
big-
actually could. I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Is
and
that
Schwarzenegger's
Schwarzenegger
back
in it?
too. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Schwarzenegger should not be in any Terminator movie ever.
I-
Fuck that.
Todd, get the fuck out. You
He's
need to leave.
old as shit.
You need to
the
leave
Terminators don't age.
my studio.
And they can.
I do
built
kind of
by
agree.
my own hands. You need to leave the studio
Oh
Like
my
right
after you
now.
dug the
God.
hole and then you rolled the
And
apartment
the
over it.
bodies and everything.
They really should just use his likeness.
Like in the fourth
I am
one,
experiencing
didn't they?
blinding
Yes.
rage right now. We will talk about this
I kind of
afterwards.
How are you going to
cannot-
age up a
You
Terminator?
just say it. You just said Schwarzenegger doesn't need to be in a Terminator movie.
I
kind
mean,
of
we don't
agree
need
with
him to
Todd.
do anything new.
But should Schwarzenegger be absent from a James Cameron sequel reboot with Linda Hamilton?
Yes.
The answer is no.
I don't
Yes.
know. It depends on how you do
They've
it.
aged him every time.
What is he going to do?
But he's got silver hair now.
The
John-
skin over the skeleton.
John
ages.
Connor,
They
help me
explained
with
this-
my
they-
walker.
Yeah, they explained this a long time ago. You know,
John
they make-
Connor, go get my Viagra so I can
You were-
fuck my maid and
you
have a
were
love child.
disgrace.
Oh.
That is what you are.
So
a
fucking
goddamn
stupid.
disgrace.
You're blinded by nostalgia.
I'm blinded by rage.
Mind your own business, you fucking bitch. I'm
There it
sorry.
is.
There it is.
How long
Your
did he have
favorite
to
line
wait
of
for it?
Frailty.
All right,
You've been
so let's-
holding it on.
Let's
You've
get
been
back
holding
to
it in for a long
frailty. Let's
time.
get back to frailty.
On
I
that
do love
note.
that line though.
So crazy. I want to make a shirt that just says that and walk around like Chuck E. Cheese.
We'll get to that dude. The one hipster
Yeah.
possible
like Light Bright
woman
Bowie's
beater.
cousin, you know?
Oh, I almost lost.
I'm imagining Bill Paxton's face on the screen right now, like reacting to everything we're saying. As we have like we have the menu up on the TV.
Dear God, this is supposed to be a funny podcast.
Oh my God. Fuck, are we going to go through this movie or not, guys?
Well, it's a short movie, so it's not going to take that much time.
So we start off with the police station, and then we have like the scene where he's like they're a happy family, and the younger son like killed the mom in childbirth, and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But
They're
like,
happy because there isn't a mother.
They're happy, you know.
Yeah, they're like a probably lower middle class family. Like they're not rich, but they're doing all right. They're making it on one income.
Like,
Yeah.
Which
he's a mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is before Reaganomics fucked America, so you could like live happily on one
That
income.
is true. It was right before Reaganomics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're still doing well. Middle class is doing well.
Yeah,
Right.
he's like a caring
Unions are a
father,
thing.
you know. Still wears his ring, maybe a little sad.
Yeah, I mean, the youngest kid, Adam, was 12, old enough to not be wearing a...
Say at least 10.
If your wife died 12 years ago, I mean, honestly, I thought till I realized that he was actually like the hand of God. I thought that, well, this is what happens if you just don't have sex for 12 years.
You just
Yeah,
slowly
You're
there
gonna
really
start-
was. Like, there was narration about, like, hey, he's alone and we don't have a mother and it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, could you be dating, sir?
I mean,
Right.
Could you be going to the local
just
bar?
pick one of those nurses up. You
Bill,
know,
I
just
know.
Stay.
Bill Paxton was the first incel. Nailed it.
Maybe pick up one of the wives of the people you killed.
Well,
They're
but-
single.
Now.
What other horror family is really fucked up and doesn't have a mother? Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
That is true.
Spoiler alert, I haven't seen that movie.
And Scream.
Sorry. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scream
Yeah.
1.
If these are
We don't
plot
need
points-
mothers in these movies.
Right. There really is no women in this movie at all, except for the
there are.
secretary and the
And
nurse.
she's a secretary.
Right. Secretary
Yeah.
and the nurse.
Well, I mean,
She
in all-
doesn't have a name in the movie. It's
Wait, no,
just-
she also has to get pregnant in the movie too. That's her other job.
You keep saying nurse. Who was the nurse that I'm
The
doing?
nurse that he
the
murders, the
kill,
first murder.
demon.
Oh, I totally forgot about
Okay,
that.
so let's
I
go
think I
back.
missed the fact that she's a nurse.
She was wearing a nurse. Like,
I do not remember.
Stereotypical.
that's just a fetish for him. He sees a lot
see
of
all
women.
I do
women
love a
wear-
woman in scrubs. Anyway,
Awkward.
moving on.
I'm not cutting this.
It's Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
up my brain.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
I hate that you love that show.
you
I
fucking
watched
hate
that show
everything
for
I
like
love.
4 seasons, and then I was out.
So where are we?
Okay.
Todd is
So he has
jizzing his
this
pants for some
revelation
reason.
and he tells his kids about it, and then he's like, "Oh, we're going hunting demons." No, he just brings her home.
We're
right?
going demon hunting.
It sort of goes in small stages. Like at first he says, we are going to be recognizing and killing demons
Right. Yeah.
together as a team.
Yeah,
That's
as
what
a
the angel
family.
wants. That's what God wants. But
Right.
and then I think the first thing they said was you're gonna be delivered 3 weapons.
Yeah, 3 weapons.
Oh, my God.
So I guess the gloves were weapons, right? Because nothing
were.
ever came after the pipe.
Yeah, he found the gloves, and I can't remember where he said he found it, but that because he would get the demons with his
I
glove
think it was
hands
Ace
on.
Hardware. I think Ace Hardware was still a thing.
Yeah.
There
back
was like
then.
a light
Ace-
shining on the
There was a
aisle.
light. It's the same light that shined down on like the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Like he's driving around and he just sees this light beaming down on some
he
random
couldn't see
person's
'cause his
shed
eyes
in
were-
the middle of this field.
He stole Otis, the axe that they
Yeah.
use. He stole Otis from like a fucking...
A random person.
like a random
weirdo.
farmer who's
a murder barn.
Well, yeah. Oh,
look a little
I mean, so
murder.
you're
Look a
saying...
murdery. Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay.
Or
Maybe it's like the movie The Santa Claus, where the previous demon slayer in this area lived in that house. He died,
And he just
then
left his
he
axe
picks up
there?
the
Just
mantle. He
compare-
goes and picks up.
Can you
Correct.
just compare Frailty to the
Santa Claus?
horrible
Bad
movie,
Santa?
The Santa Claus?
You need to get.
I haven't seen this
First
in a
off,
while.
you need to watch your goddamn mouth. You really do. You were testing me today.
Really?
Fucking Santa Claus
You like
and
Santa Claus?
Terminator, Schwarzenegger. You need to
Grey's
respect
Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. I'll give him Grey's, but you need to watch it, sir.
Holy
I have an
shit.
Otis myself.
Oh,
do
wow.
So you better
Wow.
watch. Okay, now seriously, this guy is he lives on a farm. He doesn't have an axe and gloves of his own.
He doesn't
Right.
live on a farm.
Paxton doesn't.
Paxton
He lives
doesn't,
on
no.
a piece of farm land,
they're just
but he doesn't
poor.
live on a farm.
They're just like pretty lower middle class. Like they're just. I mean, their backyard is not all that big.
But I mean, there are not a whole bunch of neighbors around.
No,
Otherwise, they
I mean-
would see him like murdering people.
Well,
Destroying demons.
right.
Sorry.
I mean, he's white. It's Texas.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. Okay. So he finds the axe. He finds the gloves. The next thing he gets is a
lead pipe.
Is a lead pipe,
Lead
and that's the
pipe,
first
yeah.
one where he's like, I
He
don't really
found it
know
in the
what to.
conservatory.
Yeah. I don't really know what to do with
Professor
this.
Plum gave me this lead pipe.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and okay, so
And
then,
it was weird that there's a lead pipe outside
Right, yeah.
my place right now.
yeah, when
that's
we
just
walked in,
randomly
there was
the-
a lead pipe on the ground in front of it. I thought you would stash it there.
And it looked like a new one, too. It still had a tag
It was
on
shiny.
it. Yeah.
I thought somebody was like marking their parking spot or something, or trying to send a message to someone.
When I drove up, there was a bright light just from the sun
really?
directly onto
Did you
it.
pick it up?
No, that's not the pipe in my pocket. I'm just
Oh.
happy to see Clint.
Okie doke.
So yeah, okay. So then he steals the nurse, which you sort of see in a.
Steals.
So this is his first
Right.
victim, the
Yeah.
Demon Slayer. He's basically explained, we are going to be able to see them for demons, but no one else will.
Right.
And
When I
so
take my
he-
gloves off and touch them, they'll be revealed for what they are.
Right,
Is
yeah.
what he says. And then, but of course, we as the viewer don't see it because we're through the perspective of Fenton,
Yeah.
who we think is Matthew McConaughey talking to Powers Booth.
Right.
Yes.
Powers Booth. When he touches him, it looks like Bill Paxton just lost the ability to get hard unless he touches like someone he's about to
And then all of
murder.
a sudden he discovers
Correct.
it all at once.
Yeah.
As he touches it.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
his pants were filled with jizz
Yeah.
while they were murdering people.
And she was disturbed by it, you know.
I
She did
couldn't
not enjoy
tell.
it.
in
The nurse?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not
Yeah.
into being
Well,
bound
we
and
found
gagged
out-
and murdered.
But we
No.
find out later in the movie that they feel something too when he
Right.
touches
because
them.
It incapacitates FBI agents.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Woo.
Powers Booth is not a small man.
Powers Booth doesn't like to be touched.
Also, don't think he's a very good FBI agent.
No, he's the
He
worst.
is not.
Anyway, so they kill the nurse.
They kill the old man. Remember
old
they
man.
get
The
him
old
at the
man.
grocery store.
The old man,
And I
yeah.
think that was the first time he had sort of spoken of what he saw in the visions. He was like, this man is
He killed little kids.
a
killed
child
little kids.
killer.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
yeah.
he said.
And then and that's the first time the kids help abduct them.
Yeah, because he said his dog was under the car.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's
Fenton
right,
was,
that's
Fenton
right.
was saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the older brother is having a very tough time with all this.
Well, the older
Immediately thinks he's crazy.
Well, I
Yeah.
would too if
Yeah,
my
right.
dad was getting visible erections and then murdering people.
Correct.
Yeah, and
So-
having that goofy Bill Paxton grin on his face every time he tells you about it. you know?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
I love Bill Paxton. R.I.P.
Bill Paxton, get on.
You know
this
what I just thought of
podcast.
a second ago? I was like, when he said
Oh
Powers Booth.
shit! Bill Paxton's dead.
Yeah, he died last year. He
I
died
thought
last-
Powers Booth died last
Powers
year.
Booth.
Genuinely,
And Bill
your
Paxton.
face says you genuinely
I
did not know that. Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not
no,
going to
he
get a
died.
Twister 2.
We're not getting a Twister 2. I
No,
wrote
Bill
30
Paxton.
pages of a Twister 2.
Did you really? Yes,
I did.
The twist.
Did Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton finally fuck?
Wow.
They have a 5-year-old child that they drag around.
They have a college age. I mean, the movie was over 20 years ago. They have a college age kid that. Are we talking about my plot
Talking
of
about
Twister 2?
Clint's fanfic.
I really
Twister
did.
script.
No, I really was going to finish it and try to.
I mean, how
try
do
to
you
get it to
go bigger
Warner
than a
Brothers,
Cat
but-
5 hurricane or tornado? Sorry.
6.
How do you what?
How do you go bigger than a Category 5 tornado?
No
You
one's ever
don't.
seen a tornado this big. We're gonna have to,
It's the finger of God.
They-
have to create a new
Todd.
category.
So what you're saying is Clint wrote 30 pages of Geostorm?
He did. He's like, maybe we should put some sharks
I
in
am
here.
genuinely. I am genuinely embarrassed right now, and I would like to move on.
Hey, you know what we can do on Patreon is Clint read his script. for
Oh
Twister.
my God! Yes.
It was called Twisters, not Twister
Twisters.
2.
Was it?
Like Alien to Aliens.
When you tried to pitch it to somebody, did you draw an S and then draw the $sign through it?
Oh yes.
It was a
Yes.
tornado, Jennifer.
I'm sorry.
Clint, you need me in
dear
those
God.
meetings with you.
Yeah.
You need me in
Those are
meetings.
the two projects I tried to get off the ground. Legit. I actually went to Disney for this next one I'm going to mention. I tried to write a Mighty Ducks reboot.
Oh shit!
And I actually went to
Flighty.
wrote to Disney and tried to write it in novel, like tried to get commissioned to write it in novel form. And Disney sent me a very official rejection letter with Mickey Mouse ears on it, which I still have.
Because they thought that you were like a young adult writer trying to.
Yeah, this is not, and this is not when I was a teenager, guys. This is like in the last 5 years.
they thought you were like a 17-year-old, like trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life.
To be fair,
Holy
they actually
shit.
had a meeting about it because
Did they?
because they didn't reject me right away. They were like, we're going to go off and talk about it. And
Because all that stuff's coming back now.
Yeah.
it is, and they're actually rebooting. They're going to do a Mighty Ducks TV show with the original writer. And so that might have been why
Pacey going to be
they...
in it?
Huh?
Is Pacey going to be in it?
The original, well, that was my idea. He was the new... Bombay
new
dies at the
coach?
beginning, and he's the new coach of my idea. Yeah, that's what it was. So...
man,
Well,
We gotta
that
make this
sort of
happen.
would have matched what happened in the first one, right? Doesn't the old guy?
The old guy dies in the third one.
That's right. My bad.
But yeah, Bombay is sort of like we're gonna have a Mighty Ducks conversation. He's haunted by his old coach, who is still alive.
Right. That's
not in real life.
My favorite. I think Emilio Estevez line in any movie is when the cop says breath, blood, or urine at the very beginning. And he goes, "No thanks, I'm full." I'm like,
love that. No thanks, I'm full.
Well done, Emilio.
If I ever, I kind of wanted a DUI
Watch
once
out.
in my life, so I could just say that line.
Your brother's gonna get AIDS.
But your dad's going to be president. So,
Tiger blood.
You know.
Wait,
It is
what?
true. West Wing.
Oh yeah. I was like,
This is a movie podcast, Todd.
Right.
yeah, my bad.
And an episode about frailty, too, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh
yeah,
shit,
we should
we're
get
way
back to
off
that.
base.
Anyway.
But, you know.
Mind your own. No, sorry. It's not funny when I say it to you. It's
I
like
know, it
you
just
can't
makes me
direct it at
cry.
I just
anybody.
feel
Yeah.
bad.
All right, so he's killed a couple people up to this point. He's killed the
The
lady,
nurse
old
and
man.
the old man who's like a pedophile killer. Maybe just a killer, but
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
at this point, the older kid is really, really losing his mind. Like thinking about running to he goes down to the police station and
Oh my
chickens
God.
out and then runs
Yeah.
away. Todd, you had problems with his running.
Yeah, I mean,
It was very poorly
and
done.
I'll just
He
say-
runs better than the woman in Urban Legend. What's her
Yeah.
name? Alicia Witt.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I think
runs
you
like she's on
commented
a-
on the younger son skipping, too.
yeah.
right?
Why would you?
You have problems with people's movements. So where are we at this point with McConaughey and Powers Booth?
They're in the car. So Powers Booth is like,
Oh, well, we got
take
into
me
the
to
car.
the Rose Garden.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
No, he's like, here, put these handcuffs on
that's what- yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
and
that's
then
what he
get
says.
in the
Which
car and
is
take
a
me to Rose Garden.
horrible FBI agent.
Right.
Like, first thing he does is he sends all of his other agents home. Like, they kind of pop in and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
boss, you need us to stick around? He's
Yeah.
like, nah, just leave me alone with
This
this
guy says
super,
he's the
super
killer.
creepy dude. Yeah.
Right.
Totally fine. Go home. I'm Powers Booth. I can
Yeah.
handle it.
Powers
I've got
Booth.
like a fucking revolver on me or some shit.
Right.
And tells him to put the cuffs on himself.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, he is talking to a white man, and he's sort of a cop. So I mean,
Right.
it sort of makes sense to me.
That it's okay.
all right.
Because-
And he also has a Southern accent. He's like, he is also a
Yeah.
Southerner, a Texan.
They bonded, you know?
They totally
talked about their
bonded.
mothers,
They
you
totally
know?
bonded. And he
Well, not his
did
mother, 'cause
some
he killed
he did
himself.
some verifying because he called the other sheriff's station from the town he's from
Yes.
to verify that his brother was causing that stole the
Right, right, right.
ambulance and all that shit. So anyway.
Yeah.
You think they bonded over the fact that they both killed their mothers?
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, at that point, we don't know that he killed his mom.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
Wait a second, I'm
But Matthew
confused.
McConaughey does.
Yeah, because it's Adam, right? Adam's the guy with Powers Booth.
Well, right,
and
but-
Adam killed the mom when he came out of her. Like, she died during childbirth. That was a weird way of saying that.
Gotcha.
That was a weird way of saying
Okay.
that. So, yeah. And then Powers Booth, we find out towards the end, murdered his mother for no reason. I
Yeah.
thought they'd say why Powers Booth
She
committed-
apparently
He wouldn't just
she
mind her
apparently
business
committed
stopped.
or fucking
matricide.
bitch.
He killed her while she was doing laundry. I'm
I
sure
know.
she stopped doing his laundry.
You stopped
Right.
doing my laundry, you fucking bitch!
My mom is an angel.
She was the angel that visited Bill Paxton. Aren't you paying attention?
That was a man angel. A mangel. It was a mangel.
An angel.
So the older son is really not taking this well, and he keeps fighting with
Yeah.
Bill Paxton. At this point, he tells him to
Yeah.
dig a hole.
Bill Paxton does, yeah.
Yeah, like what was it, like 15
It was
feet
15
deep
feet.
or something?
No, I think it was 10 feet deep, 15 feet wide.
Yeah,
a
and he
perfect
gives him like
square.
one day to do it. He's like,
Right.
this needs to
Have
be
this
done by the time I
by
get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 8 hours. He gives 8 hours to dig a fucking huge hole.
Yeah, and no gloves.
Why don't you pray about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the son digs the hole. He's all pissed off. He fucks up his hands. He doesn't use the gloves.
Right.
Paxton tells him to take a couple days off. He's like, look, I'm like, this is God. It's not me.
Right.
I'm not the asshole here.
Yeah, God's making me do this.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
Well, so he
gets back
finishes
to
digging the hole.
back to digging the hole,
And then,
and then they start building the shed.
Yeah.
They
roll the shed
They
on
roll the
top
shit
of
on
the
top of
hole,
it.
Which I always
Yeah.
thought was really cool. I remember watching that back in the day and was like, oh, that's how you move buildings.
You know what? They never explain how they got them up on those steel rollers.
Yeah.
though,
I guess
which,
you put your fingers right underneath it and you just all lift at the same time and you dig the little, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I looked over and Clint's eating baby food, and I cannot.
It's weirdly.
Thanks for
chewing.
outing me.
I
Again,
cannot.
Sometimes you wear no pants, and I say nothing.
Wait, when have I done that recently?
I was not present for this.
Pantsless podcast. I don't
Pantsless
out
podcast?
you.
That
is
was
what I'm
forever
saying.
ago.
You out me with whatever I'm doing.
Did you guys have a pantsless podcast?
Yes. So there are. So they
Welcome
move.
to the Horror Virgin.
So they move the shed over onto the hole, more or less to make a basement in the shed.
Right,
a
murder dungeon.
basement. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So
Was it clear where? Oh no. Okay, and so
Yeah.
up until this point, he had been burying them in the rose garden, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They,
And then-
they always
Yeah.
buried them in the rose garden. They just had to like kill them in the garage.
Oh, I thought maybe he. I thought maybe when we get to the point where he locks Fenton down there, that there was already a body down there or something.
No.
I mean the cop that they had to kill. That's who it was. I was trying to think like
Yeah.
they had to murder somebody else. They always planted him in the rose garden because remember the young kid tried to do it and he was like, no, we have to do it
So
this way
let's
because
back
God
up.
has specific.
right, let's block.
That was a big
Wow.
laugh, though. I
Wow.
love that part when the son was like trying to
No.
bury him himself, and Bill Paxton's like, "No, son, don't do that." He's
Yeah.
like, "You do it this way."
With the arm right here
Yeah.
and the head facing that way.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because Bill Paxton goes and takes a guy. I can't remember who he was, but Bill Paxton takes a guy, brings him to the dungeon, wants Fenton to kill him. Fenton won't. Fenton runs up out of the dungeon, and that's when he actually goes to the sheriff. And I
Yes.
guess he's the sheriff. He's the guy who lives in the house
that's
behind the
right,
sheriff.
that's right,
And he
that's right.
brings him over,
The bass fisher.
and like they knock on the door, and like because he's like the sheriff in this town is the worst sheriff ever.
Worst
Yes.
cop
It's like, my dad's
ever.
a
Yeah.
murderer. He's
Yeah.
like, well, let's just call your dad and see about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
like at one point, Bill Paxton is like, I hate that he told everybody at the station. And the cop is like, nope, I was the only one there.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
the
the
only
only
one he
guy.
told.
I'm the only one who knows. So if you kill me, no one will ever find out.
I surely hate that you wrote everything down somewhere, right?
Worst law enforcement
Yeah.
So
ever
anyway-
in this film.
So Fenton, as a child, convinces the sheriff, let's just go look at the dungeon.
Yeah.
So they go down there. They've moved the guy, but they
Probably
probably
to the rape van.
right. And then of course they murder
When
him
did they
later.
get
but
the rape van? Did I miss that? Because
I don't
I feel
remember
like
them
they
getting the
didn't
rape
have
van
that at the
either.
beginning.
They just show up having that when they capture the second guy.
That's
I think
what I thought.
What happens is God like shone some beam of light down on
down
van.
on a rape van.
Yeah.
And they
It's
take
like,
it.
okay.
Right.
The keys are probably like at the top of the visor. You
Just
know?
like in Terminator 2.
That's right.
Yeah. We're going to tie
Easy
in Terminator
money.
2 and Ryan Phillippe into everything.
Hey man, I'm down for it.
Oh, yeah, you are. It would be your second time. Okay. They show the cop the dungeon. There's no one down in the dungeon.
Right.
The
He's like,
cop
"Oh,
starts
he
to
was
go
right
back
there."
up,
Ooh.
and you hear the axe like hit the cop,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and he falls down the stairs. And Bill Paxton's like, "Why'd you make me kill a person?
Yeah. He's like, I've never killed a person before.
I've
And
only
we're all
destroyed
like,
demons."
Killed like 5 people.
Right. Well, and that's what Fenton says.
Yeah,
Fenton's
that's
like,
a big debate of
like,
the movie.
Dad,
Yeah, it's
like,
like they
look
weren't real.
there,
They weren't.
there,
They were
there.
demons.
Right.
Yeah, he also seems very confused. They're both people. I mean, they're bad people.
Yeah.
You know, you can call them demons, but he can't figure out that that's just sort of metaphorical and not
Right.
Anyway.
So yeah, so they bury the two guys, the cop and the demon they actually killed that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, I mean, we don't see them kill
No,
him, but I
that
guess
kill
we
happens
assume
off
him.
screen. Yeah,
Right.
you never see him kill the guy they brought that actually launched this whole "let's go get the cop and bring him over" thing.
Right.
And it's also to note that there's a line in there where he talks about how he can just sort of magically find these people wherever they live, like God
Yeah.
is leading them to him,
He
like he
didn't
has
know where
no
he was
directions
going,
or
but yeah.
anything like that. So it's unclear. Like sometimes an angel comes down and just tells him information, and then other times he's like blessed by the angel and knows.
Yeah.
Then other times he's just sort of guided by
Yeah.
God.
some God.
So-
yeah.
In my mind, this
Something
is
silly.
this is what happens when two people have the same idea and one of them executes them better than the others. This is the same plot to me, more or less, as Unbreakable by M. Night Shyamalan.
very much like Unbreakable.
You said
Except,
Unbreakable earlier.
except
Yeah.
this isn't as good as Unbreakable.
That's interesting. I really, really love Unbreakable.
I do too.
Yeah, I like it too. And
they're
the
very
sequel.
different. I still think I
haven't
would
seen
still argue
Unbreakable
they're
in a
very
long
different
time.
movies with very different tones. But
Can he like touch it in Unbreakable? Can he touch
Yes.
him and see what he did?
Yes.
he sees the entire history. Yeah,
Yes.
just like this movie.
Just like this movie.
Yeah.
When did Unbreakable come out?
2000,
Somebody gonna sue somebody. So this movie came out after Unbreakable?
2002.
Damn.
That is very interesting.
All right. M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah,
needs
but
to
yeah,
get after
very
that Bill
different
Paxton
tones
money.
to the movie because he doesn't he's not killing people, right?
Who
I
is
would
it?
imagine if they filmed this in 2001, they
Willis?
were already the movie was probably already written by the time Unbreakable came out.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think you're
as
right.
the writer, you have to have been like, fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I've seen
That
both
happens
of
a
those
lot.
movies, and I've never really noticed a connection
Really?
between the two. No, yeah. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because it's real clear.
Oh,
I like
is
the
it?
face war going on. The audience.
Sorry.
The listeners never get to see the face war between Jennifer and Todd. And the flicking off.
The funny thing is, she does this shit-eating impression of me where she just like goes...
like wobbles her head.
Yeah, like wobbles her head like... Meh. And she just did it to me. Oh, my God, it made me laugh. All right, whatever. I hate you.
Audio medium.
It reminds me of Dana Carvey's old impression on SNL of
the church lady?
Dennis Miller. No, Dennis Miller. Where he's like,
yeah.
You do that a lot.
oh yeah, when I hate somebody, yeah.
Oh.
Somebody saying
Wow.
something stupid.
This just in, Clint hates Jen, apparently.
No, I don't do that to Jen.
You do that a lot. Yeah, I see you do that a lot. Yeah, only when I hate somebody.
Now we know.
Only
you're
when
dumb.
they're dumb.
Oh.
Only when they're dumber than I am, which is that happens often.
It's a low bar.
Oh, man. All right, so
I'm sorry. Back to Frailty.
they murder...
Speaking of frailty,
So they... where were we?
They had to kill the cop.
they had to kill the cop,
Yeah.
and then
So they bury both of them. They come back. Oh, and then that night, after they're done burying the cop and the actual demon in air quotes, they nail Fenton down into the dungeon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at that
Leave
point,
him there for
Paxton is
weeks.
fed up.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you
He's
afraid of me?"
done.
Oh, and he said that the angel said that Fenton was a demon too.
Yes.
Yes.
and that
Yes.
the angel
Yes.
probably told him to kill him.
He
Probably.
doesn't quite reveal all that information.
No, I think he does at that point.
Revealed
He said-
later. Well, he asked him what the angel said. Fenton did, and he said it doesn't matter. It just
That's
means
right.
you don't have faith, and it's a problem.
Yeah,
and
That's
throws him
right.
in the dungeon.
but he also said you're a demon. I'm pretty sure he's
Oh,
hanging
did
the
he?
axe up, and I think he said the angel said you were a demon.
Oh, that's right. It's before that he reveals that the angel said something about him. it's one that
the
he...
angel told me about it.
Yeah, he wakes him
So-
up, and they're having like breakfast or whatever.
Yeah,
and that's when
yeah.
he tells him that. But you're right. But
Because
it just
every time
happens
they
earlier.
kill somebody, he talks to the dad, and he's like, "This is fucked up. You shouldn't kill people."
Yeah.
and then he has to like explain it.
Right.
Like,
He's
how-
like, but
Over
we're
and
white
over
and we
and
live in
over
Texas
and over.
and God is real, so I
Yeah.
can do whatever I want.
Todd brought up a really good point where it takes.
Did I?
It takes.
The
Yeah, you
first
did.
time.
It takes weeks for this child to learn how to lie.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get out of
Oh,
that.
yeah. 'Cause
like,
Get
how
out
do
of-
you not pretend to have a vision like as you're going down?
and
the
I
stairs?
said that like the second Bill Paxton starts nailing the roof, or what leads to the stairs. The second that starts getting nailed, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm having a real
Yeah,
dream."
yeah.
Yep.
I would have
Well,
started
also-
having a vision so fast.
How do you not just say, "I prayed and God told me not to dig anymore"? Like 10 minutes into digging,
That would have been a good
that would
one.
have gotten you out
Yep.
of digging. Yeah,
Wow, you're really lazy. All Bill Paxton wants you to do is build him a murder shelter.
right. But he didn't give me.
Wait.
fucking gloves,
Do you think Bill Paxton was just getting ready to film Twister 2? So he was making them build a storm shelter that they could use for Twister 2.
I
Yeah.
don't like thinking about this.
And if he hadn't have like had,
It
the
would have been my
vision, he would have put those
unproduced-
pipes down in there. That was his next job for him. you
yeah.
know? The pipes that they like hit their belts on, and the finger of God doesn't like destroy them. Like it just
Hand of God, finger of God. We're bringing
We're
this
not-
full
Whoa.
circle, people.
What is the finger? of
Twister
God?
and Frailty are the same movie.
They do both have Bill Paxton in them.
Can't believe he's dead.
Yeah.
He's totally dead. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why I said totally, but yeah,
he died.
He's like totally dead.
you know, he was doing the Training Day show for, I think it was CBS, and he died in the middle of it. They were in the middle of the season.
What?
Yeah.
How did he die?
He had a
thing, right?
freakish sort of accident in surgery.
Yeah.
He had like was it back surgery? I can't remember, but
remember.
something crazy, man.
That was like a heart thing.
So you're saying
He was going in for like a procedure that wasn't that dangerous, and then something happened, and
Yep.
yeah.
do you think God told the doctor to?
that he was a demon. Like, here's your chance.
I mean, Bill
Like it's
Paxton
time to
may not
go.
have been a great dude.
I like Bill Paxton.
He may have murdered people.
Maybe the doctor was a demon slayer? I don't know.
exactly.
We are
This is
losing-
what I'm saying.
We are losing
Yeah,
listeners.
like the Bill Paxton heads.
all the Bill Paxton.
All you
heads.
Pax heads out there,
Pax heads.
get at us.
You know who's not listening anymore is Jinx, who was probably listening up to this point.
Oh, yeah, he's
'Cause
like,
Bill
fuck.
Paxton says, seriously, if you ask our buddy Jinx, if you ask him if he wants to see a movie, he's like, is Bill Paxton in it?
Yeah, he loves Pax. He's a Pax head for sure.
I do like Bill Paxton.
I like Bill.
Everybody
I'm a
loves
Pax
Bill
head.
Paxton, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I ever made out with a girl when I was 14 was to Twister.
First DVD, man.
I have,
it Clint?
I said with a girl. Clint and I made
Well
out
played.
way earlier than
I will
that.
hand you that. And yes, the answer was yes.
Her
Can
name
we
was
talk-
Sarah. How you
My name was
doing,
Sarah back then. Can we talk?
And he had a killer vagina.
Can we talk a little bit about how they, at this point in the movie, they keep cutting back to the longest car ride
ever.
forever.
Yeah.
They're going real slow because it's raining.
Powers Booth drives real slow.
Yeah, well, and his windshield wipers aren't working, so he doesn't want to get in a
Right.
That's true. There are a lot of shots of through the windshield of
And I
Powers
like
Booth's
that.
face. Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Well, you know Powers Booth is going to end up being a bad guy in everything. Like, have you
Yeah.
ever seen him in
got
something that
that
he's not
look.
the bad guy in?
Is he in Tombstone?
Bad guy.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. There's no
I
way he
haven't seen that
wasn't.
movie in a long time.
No way he wasn't. Also starring...
Bill Paxton.
Paxton.
Yeah, that's how they knew each other.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
why
know
they
that.
wanted to work together. Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You got to drop the facts, man.
So they do sort of cut back and forth, and the whole thing is narrated on this car ride by Matthew McConaughey, who's like, all right, let me tell you about how I kill people. But whatever.
Yeah, there aren't a whole lot of interesting facts about this movie. They did use the same beer can all the way through, though. Like that, you know, that beer can he has is like an old timey one. They could only find one of them.
Wow.
So they
Low
just used-
budget indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just like added in the sound of when they opened it.
psst.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
Oh, that's crazy.
Not a whole
that's
lot of
real
interesting
crazy.
facts.
So,
Because
okay.
nobody really talks about this movie that much anymore.
That's true.
So anyway, when we last left you with Fenton, he was locked in the basement.
Yeah.
So he
I always want
eventually...
to call him fentanyl.
I know, but you know, fentanyl kills more people, believe me, than Fenton does. Did I just bring the podcast way down?
did.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry to
too
hit you with some
soon,
true
Todd.
facts, guys. But
Christ.
It's not
Actually,
that
right
kind of
about
podcast.
fentanyl.
pharmaceutical
a lot
companies
at
are
work.
killing people every day. Look it up. They pretty much have a legal way to sell heroin,
yeah.
and they do it. It's the worst. Listen to the last podcast on the left; they talk about it.
Should we watch Frailty again on fentanyl? It's just
No,
an
we
idea.
would die
Should we do a fentanyl podcast?
No.
That only lasts about 3 months.
because we'd be dead.
Where are we?
So,
at this point?
Fenton has a vision, quote unquote, a vision, or God tells him what to
he
do.
learns
He
to
figures out the
lie.
plan.
He figures out he's gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
He devises a plan.
So they let him out. They nurse him back to health, and then a few weeks later, they take another person. And this is the guy who does the world's best quote ever in this movie, and he looks like.
He looks like Sting, is what
He
he
looks
like.
like a redneck Sting on
Yeah.
some level because
Yeah.
it's that shirt. It's sort of tight.
it's light brighty a
It's-
little bit.
I'm not even sure if there are little holes in it or if it's just like brown spots.
Yeah, looks like a
Speckles.
failed
It's
musician.
like orangey speckles.
Yeah, it looks like he could be on his way to a gay club or
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
he doesn't have an
Murder some
accent
people.
either, so
No, he doesn't.
What's
He
he
just-
doing out there?
He's
Who's
He's
that
always
guy?
talking like this.
Can we get a movie about that guy?
Yeah, that would be a horror movie.
I wonder what that actor's doing now.
Probably nothing because he doesn't respect women, Clint.
Right.
Anyway, he's the guy who says when his wife or girlfriend through the door is like, who
like-
y'all talking to? He's like, mind your business. You fucking
Just
bitch.
his delivery
It's
was
so-
so unexpected. He's
It
just
is.
like, mind your business, you fucking bitch.
You're right. It does start out sort of calm, almost calm, and then he loses his shit. Bill Paxton, when directing, was like, I want you to be at a 1 and then be at an 11.
Yeah.
By the end of
Right.
it. But I want you to get there gradually. And what he did was he was at a 1 until mind your business and then went to 11 for fucking bitch.
Right.
It was amazing.
Well, and what's funny is I think we kind of imagine that this is going to be the next kill where maybe this guy is going to get away, but this guy is so terrible that you kind of still want him to die too.
Well, and they do that for a reason. We'll get to that. So they take him, and then he's in the murder dungeon. Bill Paxton gives Fenton the axe.
Yeah.
And this is where I said, even before Fenton kills Bill Paxton, I was like, well, that was dumb because he's going to kill you, you
Right,
idiot.
right.
And so he does. Fenton kills Bill Paxton, the dad. And you think that scene's going to end or whatever because
Yeah.
they're like, both the sons are down by Bill Paxton, and Bill Paxton's like, I guess my name was on the list.
Yeah, well, and he
Or
whispers to
whatever.
Adam.
Does he?
Yeah, he whispers
I
to the
didn't
little
see
the
that.
blonde
Whispers something.
kid.
He probably
Yeah.
says, take Otis to kill the man, because
Yeah.
this is the part that scared me. Adam, who's 12 or really young, just runs at the dude screaming
Yeah.
and then kills him. That was the part I wasn't expecting, and I shit the couch.
It's brown.
Yeah. And then it cuts back to Powers Booth and
That does
Matthew
not
McConaughey.
sound like Powers Booth. Do you think it does?
Powers Booth.
I don't know what Powers Booth sounds like.
You just sound like Batman.
I think now would be
Yeah.
a good time for me
The
to
Christian
take my
Bale shitty Batman.
shit. Swear
Not
to Powers Booth. Swear to me.
Powers Booth talks like this.
He's real slow about it.
Bobby.
Todd and Powers Booth.
That's a Parks and Recreation thing. Sorry. Bobby Newport.
He's never had a real job in his life.
Wow. So doesn't it's at this point that it cuts back to the future, right? Wow, not with
A better movie flashed before my eyes.
Well, it cuts back to Matthew McConaughey and Powers Booth.
Finally.
And
We're
they
finally to the moment of,
arrived
like,
at the
big-
Rose Garden.
Yeah.
The big reveal of the movie.
So they're at the Rose Garden, and that's when, and still handcuffed,
Yeah.
that's when Matthew McConaughey realizes that he is not Fenton, as the movie would have you believe.
Yeah.
And I think
he reveals. Like, he just tells him.
Yeah, well, he's still handcuffed, and he's
well,
like, oh, by
he
the
sort
way.
of drops a hint first that
Yeah.
Powers Booth sort of picks up on, and he's
Yes.
like, well, that
He's like,
doesn't
well,
make
that
any
doesn't
sense. Yeah.
Unless
Right.
I'm really Adam the whole
no-
time.
Dun.
Well, yeah, so like the reveal we actually see in flashback form is the kids in the Rose Garden when they're burying the dad and the guy who delivered
Life
the
right
"you
cousin.
fucking bitch"
Yeah.
line. Fenton says to Adam, when you kill me, bury me here. Or when
Right.
you destroy me, bury me here. And Adam's like, oh, I promise you, I'll bury you here.
Right. Uh-huh.
Clear eyes,
said,
full
"All right."
hearts can't lose. Sorry, we looked up during the movie that the little boy who plays
Little
Adam was
right.
in
he was
Friday
Colt
Night Lights.
McCoy
Yeah,
in
in
Friday Night Lights, which is the fakest sounding name ever.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like he was named by a gun that was drinking Red Bull.
Yeah. He was woo Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
So I have a question because I'm a stupid man. Here was something here's something I was confused about. Did adult Fenton actually go on a murdering spree?
Yeah, that's
that's
what
what
they
I
find in the
thought.
basement. Yeah,
and
because
then
he's a demon.
McConaughey pins a couple of the last kills on him as a part of his murdering spree, right?
It does seem that way,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And in truth, we only know that Powers Booth is in the basement of Fenton's house because that cop, when he comes up and gives the Powers Booth's badge to the other cop who was
Yeah.
horrible
Young
too.
cop.
Yeah, the
He's a
young
good
cop
man,
who like boned out early. He was like, "Hey, I realize you're here with a murderer, but can I just
Yeah.
fucking go home
I
early?
got a date."
My wife needs the dick." So they. So he gets into that cop. But the only body that guy references, now there may be more down there, but the only one he references is Power
No, but they
Booth.
say Powers Booth is not down there. Remember, they say,
Oh,
is
do
he
they?
down there? Because they just found the thing. It's like,
Well, it was
not
really
him.
weird, yeah, because they found his bloody ID,
Oh,
but
Found
they,
his
they
bloody
didn't
ID,
find his.
and they saw his name on the bottom of the list.
Yes.
So why was that? Because is it just
'Cause he's
tradition that he
Fenton's
has
last
to
victim.
be built? Okay, so if he were Fenton's last victim, then why wouldn't you just put him in the basement with the other bodies?
Because he demon killed him and had to bury him in the rose garden.
That's what I was about to ask.
What God
So
demands.
he's just not breaking tradition, is what he's
Right,
doing. He's like,
'cause
I
it's a
have to,
sin.
yeah.
And because Powers Booth, when he's there
You know that's
in
not
the,
funny.
in the Rose Garden, it's
gotta
never
run
not
into the
been
ground,
funny.
though.
So yeah, when Powers Booth gets to the Rose Garden,
I'm just concerned about your voice.
I just really like whenever I say Powers Booth, Clint's like, oh God. So when Powers Booth gets to the Rose
better.
Garden, he sees a shitload of mounds.
Yeah, he's like,
where
what
like
are
it's
those?
well more than 6 that they were
Still
looking
doesn't
for.
run away because Powers Booth don't run away.
No.
Right.
Pulls a gun on him because he's
He,
handcuffed.
like, slowly gets it out of his pocket and he's like, hey, hold on a second.
Where do you
Wait
think
a second,
cops
I
keep
think something's
guns?
wrong, huh?
He kept
In
his
their
his
suit pocket?
That's where he kept his, isn't it? Was it in a holster? I don't know.
I'm sure it was, but I mean, he knew that this guy was creepy the whole time. He knew he was hiding something
Right.
from him too. He says it.
He says that.
And I'm like, how about you have your gun out at all times?
Yeah, but he also
and
knows
maybe
he's a
call for some
demon.
backup or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, here's what I think is weird too. Does no one in the world ever go into this rose garden?
It's very
Because
strange.
it's not their family rose garden.
and it's
It's
a big
not.
rose garden
And it
too.
is, and the bodies are buried on top of the ground with dirt just over them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes no sense. It
I
sort
guess
of makes
God
sense.
blinds everybody.
Yes, it sort of makes sense in the sense that later, like in the present day timeline, the town's sort of dead-ish,
Yeah.
and the rose garden is like
'Cause of cold.
overgrown and stuff like that, right? Right. But when in the flashback. In the flashback time, it's like a thriving town, and there are people
Right.
all around. And the Rose Garden, like they try and cut through the Rose Garden on their way home from school. So it's
Right.
like people go through there, but
Yeah.
that's where they're burying the bodies, even in 79 timeline.
Yeah. You okay? Too many Powers Booths.
Got the Powers Booths. I got a bad case of the Powers Booths.
You did drink a bunch of Dr. Peppers, then take a bunch of Excedrin. So you're just like,
Oh, I am all amped on.
Caffeine overload.
Maybe you should mind your own business. You fucking bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're not.
That was directed at me. Not,
That's true. Not me. Sorry.
I would never say that to a woman.
So yeah, the big reveal. He
touches Powers' booth.
Well, the way he touches him is he starts talking shit about how he suspects that he killed his mom.
Yeah.
And Powers Booth, instead of just shooting him, was like, "Ma!" and then like charges him. And you're like, you dumb.
Well, that's when Matthew McConaughey
motherfucker.
touches Powers Booth.
Correct.
And Powers Booth just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like it's like being touched by powder.
Maybe he's the frailty.
The power of frailty compels you when you put
Wow.
when you put your hands on somebody.
Yeah, so like he like can't even. He just like can't even. And then Matthew McConaughey reaches down into like Powers Booth's pocket, takes the handcuff keys,
and
undoes his
does it.
Oh yeah, he's like, all right.
Oh, did you know that? Just kind of flailing.
It's like,
against
oh.
him. Yeah, but you didn't think your mage saw that, did you? Well, God saw it.
That is what he says. And then he pushes him into a hole in the ground that was pre-dug.
Right.
And then kills him.
Well, I thought it would have been better if he'd have seen
Otis.
his own grave. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I know. It was already pre-dug. That should have been what happened.
Although,
You'd be like, hey, what's up with this dug grave instead of like the body you were
You mean your grave?
although that is a huge horror movie cliche and it happens all the time. So
Of course.
What, the grave that's already dug?
especially in the
And also that would have required any kind of detective skills on Powers Booth's part, which he has not shown himself to have. In this
How
movie.
pissed would you be if you drove yourself to your murder?
Yeah.
If you
Pretty bad.
drove the killer to your, like if you were driving like Uber or something,
Yeah.
and you picked up a guy and drove him to where he murdered you.
Where he had
at
planned
least
to
you're getting
murder you
paid for
already.
your own murder if it's
You
an
can't
Uber.
spend that money.
You can't take it with you.
Your loved ones will have that $5.
Oh my God.
Okay, so in the original screenplay...
Honestly, guys, 1 star. That writer got one star.
And he kind of smelled bad a little bit too.
Yeah, one star.
So in the original screenplay, he didn't kill his mom; he killed his daughter.
What?
Yeah, but
That'd
they
be a little
changed-
bit more sinister.
Right. Well, they changed it because there's already so much like
Child
killing.
involvement
Yeah.
and killing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the second guy they killed, the old guy, was a child murderer.
Yeah, and I think the fact that when you see him dragging the little girl, you see her feet, one shoe is off, and I
Yes.
think that implies that he was all weird. Plus, he kind of looked like it, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
He
when
was
he
a fat
pulls,
old man.
yeah, when
All
he pulls
fat
up
old
and
men murder children. Everybody knows that.
when, duh, you know that. When he pulls
Facts
up,
are facts.
when he pulls up and like sees her like skipping rope or whatever, he does like sort of lick his lips, like, oh
Yeah, and then gives her ice cream.
I'm gonna give you this ice cream.
Okay, no, we're talking about a child.
I'm Powers Booth.
And then,
So they changed it so Powers Booth
Get my
killed his mom.
yes.
going to say something very offensive to Todd in Powers Booth's voice.
Oh.
Anyway,
Can't
moving
wait.
on.
You'll never find love. It's true though.
Oh.
I am single, ladies.
It's not your fault, Todd.
At least for now.
It's not your fault.
Are you gonna Robin Williams me?
Powers Booth voice.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny.
So this is where they reveal a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Well,
so
this is where it reveals that God is real, that
Right.
He's Adam, and that
Yeah. And
God
that Adam
does
could see
blind.
everything the whole time, and that they were really killing demons and not people, except
Right.
for that one cop.
Right, and then that God does blind people
Right,
and
because-
even electronics because they make the VHS tape go all weird. That's right,
Right.
VHS
It's
guys.
like The Ring, yeah.
Honestly,
Oh, yeah. You're like, well, I
this
guess we can't
yeah,
trust
this
it.
reveal would not work now because DVD power, like the DVD clarity, can thwart the hand of God.
Thwart the
hand of God. Yeah,
I don't know, just staticky,
I guess.
God is all powerful.
Yeah.
God was
Control
responsible
DVRs.
for blocking the porn when I was growing up. It was
To,
all
like,
scrambled.
De-scramble it. It probably was, actually, Clint. He's trying to help you.
Playboy channel. It's the demon channel.
I was a fan.
I know.
Do you?
We-
Were you there?
He's right behind you.
Gross. I used to go to my friend's house I should not tell the story on the podcast.
Go for it.
I would go to my friend's house and stay the night. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't really my friend. He was really my friend, but one of the perks of this was that his dad would order porn movies like at night.
Like for his dad to watch?
Yeah.
Like
So-
softcore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know.
Skinemax stuff.
Sort of, yeah. They weren't like hardcore
Like
penny
Confessions of a
movies.
Call Girl.
They weren't penetration movies, but we would be like we would just watch them downstairs. So he would be watching them upstairs.
And you didn't know you were watching them downstairs?
No. I almost said the name. I'm not going to say the name. My friend would we would just wait until he went to bed, and then he would just surf the channels waiting for his dad to buy one. And then we would just both watch it at the same time.
Together?
Well, he would be upstairs watching it, and we would be downstairs watching it.
You and your friend were together watching it.
Yeah.
You were jerking it in sync with this dad?
You put a biscuit on the floor?
Neither of us were jerking. I'm cutting this out. I'm cutting this out.
That sounds like what's going on.
No.
You used the force to jerk off with this guy's dad?
No. No.
Todd used the force to jerk off.
She's laughing because that's the realization that's what happened, Todd.
No, I wasn't jerking off. We were just watching, like
taking notes.
But how are you watching this and not thinking about his dad jerking off? Because he's clearly doing that.
About himself
because it was these are the first time I ever saw chicks naked.
Okay, so you're just too busy.
I was
taking it all in, and so was she. And then
there was no penetration in these movies. They were beach romp movies.
Yeah. Like their car wash or something.
Right, and then
somebody orders a pizza.
Right. Well, actually, I think one of them
I've got your dinner.
I think one of them was a movie where it was the code was if you ordered pizza from this pizza place with extra anchovies.
Should have been extra sausage.
Right.
Bad writing.
Well, no, anchovies would imply something else.
Well, no, it was a guy delivery man.
Right.
That was the thing. So
the delivery man is giving
extra anchovies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that was one of the plots. I mean, we get it. Wow. Way to pull a Powers Booth.
Have you seen that SNL sketch? It's actually pretty recent where the girl just she's really stupid and doesn't quite realize she's in a porn. And so she orders pizza because she's the babysitter.
Oh my God.
And he's like, oh, I've got your dinner. She's like, yeah.
I haven't seen that.
That's pretty great. I haven't seen that though. I honestly don't watch much Saturday Night Live anymore. Although I still think it's
really
good. I just don't have network.
It's
TV
going through
anymore.
a phase where it's good again.
Yeah.
It goes.
Sure. I don't really watch network TV anymore. The SNLs I watched on YouTube a few days afterwards.
Yeah, that's when I've been catching them too. Mm-hmm.
That's
like
fair.
the Kanye place. I liked that one.
I don't know what that is, but
you didn't see A
Glover.
Quiet Place.
The Donald Glover episode.
Yeah, that's the one I'm
was
talking
pretty
about.
solid.
When they were talking about Kanye. Kept disappearing in the corn.
Oh yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah.
That one.
It wasn't memorable per se.
I remember
because I didn't know what it was.
It.
Yeah, until you told me the premise. But I'm notoriously bad at remembering people's names or
anything.
Yeah, if you don't have a direct impact on my life, I'm not going to remember your name, right?
Yeah.
So
fuck them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they do that, I'm definitely remembering at least their first name.
You owe it to them, right?
Well. I also need to know who I have to call.
So you at least save their number in your phone.
Right.
So Frailty.
Frailty.
I wonder what would happen if what's going to happen when I'm absent? I'm sick or something. You guys do a show.
Then we're not going to record.
It's going to be like a
podcast
3-hour show.
Who will steer the ship, Clint? Yeah, about nothing.
It'll be about the patriarchy.
It will be about the patriarchy.
We're about done, right?
That's the movie, more or less.
Well, all right. So let's talk about the very, very end.
You're right.
So,
You're right.
The FBI agent,
The dumb one who left.
Yes, goes to the sheriff of the other town. I can't remember the fucking town.
It's Enid.
Enid. Or Aaron.
And walks in and because now this guy has interacted with McConaughey before, but he had said that I just couldn't see his face,
right?
It was weird
because
and that's why there was
him.
The back the tunnel vision thing when he first sees him.
So that was weird because the tunnel vision almost insinuated maybe he does recognize him, but I guess he didn't, or the same thing what you said. Crush.
But
everybody has
Matthew
a crush on
McConaughey walks out as the sheriff of Enid or whatever, but
also still super creepy,
right? And also with a red washcloth, washing his hands, drying his hands off after washing them.
Yeah. Clearly, just wiping off the blood from murdering someone.
Yeah,
and his secretary / wife is there, pregnant, working on stuff.
Very pregnant.
Yeah, raising the next little demon killer.
Yeah.
Yep. which I didn't piece it together until now. She was the one that answered the phone earlier, right?
Yeah.
So when they called, she was lying for
like,
him.
Well,
Right, or just
no,
making
she
up
wasn't
whatever.
lying for him because the FBI agent says, "What do you know about Fenton?"
Right.
And Fenton is not her husband. Fenton is her
her
husband's
husband's
brother.
Adam.
So
that
she was
actually
like, "Oh,
stole the ambulance.
right." So like, what did
I
Fenton
gotcha.
get into this time?
Yeah, that Fenton. Who did he kill this time?
Nobody, because Fenton got murdered.
He did kill people before.
I
he got
did
murdered.
like when Fenton gets murdered by Adam. He was like typing
yeah.
at a typewriter because it's not 2002 or whatever, and he
I'm gonna
like
type
He was
every word
writing the
I know.
screenplay for Frailty Todd.
he was writing the screenplay for Twister 2.
Was he?
Twisters with a dollar sign.
He died at 30 pages,
Oh, we're gonna read the screenplay.
just like my soul.
Oh, blown away.
So he like looks up from the typewriter, doesn't turn around. He looks up from the typewriter and says, "Adam."
I thought that was cool.
yeah,
I
because
liked
he
it.
knew it was
I liked it.
time because
Yep.
they'd had a date with each other from the very beginning.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I like that
Yeah.
part of it. But
If you're turning into if you're turning into a crazy killer yourself, why can't you just off your little brother?
Right.
He's gonna off you.
Yeah.
and
What's
you
the
already
difference?
killed the dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted Adam to save him from his crazy killerness. You know.
Yeah, maybe.
He couldn't
That's
help
true.
it, but
Yeah,
he knew
maybe.
that someday that he
And
his
he-
demonness would be taken to.
He was a demon.
Right,
Like that was
exactly.
confirmed that he was a demon.
How about this though? Say Fenton only had killed Bill Paxton, right? And he says the same line to Adam. He just says, "Hey, when my time comes, put me in the rose garden or whatever."
Right.
What if he never killed anybody else? Do you think he still would have ended up on the list?
Yes.
Just killing one demon slayer.
Yeah.
He
Your
was already
father.
on the list because he was on the dad's list.
Well,
So maybe if the dad had
that's
killed him, he
interesting.
would
So
have
maybe
saved
they
all those
know before
people.
they even do anything.
did they show
If-
that his name was on his dad's list? I don't think it
No,
was.
they didn't show it, but they said it, or they at least implied
See, I don't remember
it.
that line.
Yeah, because Matthew McConaughey when he's about to kill Powers Booth, he's like his name was on the list, and but Dad couldn't do it. It's like Abraham and Isaac, you know. When
I
Abraham
must
and
have
Isaac,
missed that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that interaction, but I don't remember those words per se. But yeah, I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, which the Bible story is when God commands Abraham to kill Isaac,
Right.
his son, but then he gives him a deer, a ram or something at the last minute.
You mean church stuff? Gross.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Didn't you? Do you say you went to seminary, right?
I graduated seminary.
Yeah. So one thing I think is interesting, and the only thing I wrote down when I was watching this is like all of the Stephen King stuff, because this is such a Stephen King movie. And I actually found an article that said, "Are we sure Stephen King didn't write this?" Because it is very Stephen King. You guys don't know that much about Stephen King, do you? What?
Is this based on a book?
No, it's
Okay.
not. This is original.
I'm a little
screenplay.
shocked.
Brent Hanley.
Okay. And he never really wrote anything else theatrical. I looked that up.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything notable. I think he was working on some stuff, but yeah.
It sounds like it might have been a pseudonym for Stephen King.
Well, Stephen King has a pseudonym, and it's Richard Bachman. And
What?
He got outed.
It's Richard Castle.
What?
No, it's Richard Bachman.
From the show Castle? Nathan Fillion is Stephen.
He's secretly.
Do you know?
Stephen
Do you know that ABC actually
Yes.
hired a novelist to write books as Richard Castle? Did you know
What?
that? Yeah. So the
No.
books that they talk about on the show are they created them
Really?
from yeah.
That's amazing.
I have 3 of them.
That's
They're actually
really-
not bad.
That's nerdy as fuck that you have them, but that's
So
amazing.
even if they say, "Oh, like his new book came out," like you'll never guess what happens on page 205. It's usually like a sex scene or something. When that book comes out on page 205, there will be
That's
like that's how
amazing.
precise it is.
That's
It's
amazing.
So cool.
That's great.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's too bad that
Did
show
you
got
watch Castle at all?
canceled.
No, I've never seen Castle.
You would have liked it.
I know what
he
you're talking
plays
about.
poker with some of the real authors.
Oh, does he?
On the show, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Is he an author on the show?
Yeah, he plays a
he
novelist.
plays an author, yeah.
Okay. Does he ever talk to Stephen King?
No.
I don't know. That would be interesting. I know Stephen King's not a part of the poker,
Like
their
the
poker
Castle
game.
universe?
Because when one of them dies in real life, they never replace the seat on the show in the poker game.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool.
I didn't watch it to completion.
Yeah. But they give each other shit at the poker game.
Whenever I say that, I
you
do
know,
feel like I'm jerking off while watching whatever it is.
like Patterson's there, and they're like, all you have is Alex Cross. What else you got? What else you got?
Uh-huh. Well, is Patterson there, or is like somebody else pretending to be?
No,
No,
it's
it's
Patterson.
one of the
Yeah.
authors. Yeah.
So the acting is quite bad.
That's
when
a
they,
joke about Patterson because everybody else writes his books for him. Go
Did
ahead.
we just
You cut
out
that
somebody? Does Patterson not write his own books?
He always writes
Stephen
it with
King
somebody.
writes his books.
He wrote a book called Killing Stephen King.
How did Stephen King take
He
it?
didn't like it very much. It was kind of a big deal in the author world.
Well,
Castle probably would have had some thoughts about it.
good thing no one cares about the author world.
Right. I care about Stephen King, but nobody else.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, but Stephen King did write a book in 2006 where a dad is crazy and has 2 sons and like beats the shit out of them all the time because he's crazy and he thinks demons get in the sons, and he locks one of the sons in the basement for a long time, and then the son finally breaks out and kills the dad. So it's very similar to this, and it was
that is very similar.
This.
Yeah.
Now, not that he ripped it off because the book, it's Lisi's story and it's very different than this, but I thought it was really interesting
because the way you just explained it sounds like it's exactly this, and they should sue Stephen King.
Well, but that's only like a 40% of the book. Like the rest of the book is about Lisi, who's another.
Do you mean Khaleesi?
Khaleesi? No, but I love her.
Yeah,
no,
of course you do.
Lisi.
I'm a little surprised there hasn't been anybody, some religious nut that watched this movie and went crazy and did the same thing.
It was inspired by a guy who killed people with his 9-year-old son.
Oh my
and
God.
had the 9-year-old help him. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about that, but.
That's certainly something you wouldn't want to research before the podcast.
Right, no. I don't research anymore.
Your notebook is empty.
Mind your business, you fucking bitch.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
Whew.
But I don't know. Stephen King writes a lot about perversion of religion, too, like in Carrie. You know, like God's telling me to do this crazy shit.
Well, that's very much what this is. It just turns out that God is real, which is the worst twist ever. Like, wait, what?
Let's dissect whether God is real.
Well, no, I mean, that's not.
That's the other podcast.
And listen, don't listen to my belief on what you should believe, because that's dumb. You should believe whatever you want to believe. Yeah. But just to have that be the big reveal seems almost like a cheat to me.
I don't know. I kind of liked that part.
Well, honestly, it is.
I mean, the twist is the best part of the movie. Without the twist, this movie wouldn't have been.
But they give away the twist when Bill Paxton's still alive and he's still a mechanic and he's under the car.
But when do they give away the twist? No, because he's just telling
might be
them
crazy.
That. He might be crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you're supposed to believe he's crazy the whole
There
time.
has to be a second party and so they shot it in a, going back, you were talking about watching it, repeat viewings, it's fun to watch this because with the camera tricks, you know how they shake the camera when he touches somebody and they don't ever really cut to them while he's touching them?
Right.
So they don't reveal that they feel something too.
Yeah.
Until Powers Booth,
and
which I thought was very well crafted.
They thought about showing that what we can see, that the demon stuff they did when he was touching them, like before he killed them.
Oh, that would have given it away immediately.
Exactly, which is why they waited till the end.
Yeah. And they also did a very good job with how they dealt with Adam and the dialogue with him when he was saying, oh, I see it too, but they also made him like a really, really naive and dumb child.
Yeah, like when he was trying to pretend that the kid that was picking on him was a demon so his dad would go kill him.
Yep. Very,
very,
that
false
was problematic.
Well, but so look, okay, what year did Sixth Sense come out?
99.
99. And this was 2002. And I feel like Sixth Sense was really one of the first, like, oh, Susie's been dead this whole time kind of thing, you know? Where there was
everybody
like
was
a
doing
big
a twist.
Yes. Yeah. But by this time, we weren't so used to that we try to catch them all the time.
Would you consider Sixth Sense a horror movie?
Correct.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen that.
Okay.
That's not scary.
So let's go back and talk about every movie you've seen.
You seem to have seen a lot of movies in 1999. Blair Witch, The Sixth Sense.
I was dating someone that worked in a movie theater.
You actually weren't in 99.
Oh, that's true, I guess. Yeah, you were dating her in 99.
How many movies did you see in 99, Clint?
I saw a lot of movies from like 98 to 2000.
Oh, I bet you did. And then I took over in 2000.
I don't know.
And made the biggest mistake
You know what else I was thinking?
What?
The Others, also 2002, same year as this. Yeah.
But so now, like, we're so used to all these twists that it's almost weird when there's not a crazy twist at the end, you know?
Like an M. Night Shyamalanian twist?
Exactly, yeah. So, but like, when I was watching this the first time, I don't think I was looking for that kind of stuff, you know?
So let me ask this. This is considered a horror movie?
Yeah.
But it's not scary.
Bloody Disgusting gave this an honorable mention for their top 20 horror movies of the 2000s.
But this is not scary.
Well, do you
No,
consider
not all
it
horror
scary?
movies
No,
have
I
to
would
be
put this at a
scary.
1 on the scary
But
scale.
look, okay,
This was
so-
as scary as Shawshank Redemption to me. And only because Shawshank had the sisters.
I mean, when he's crawling around and shit, and the rape scenes in
Yeah.
that movie.
That's the
pretty-
sisters. That's the sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he talks about, like, the bite reflex,
I'd like to think that Andy fought him off and fought the good fight.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that.
I thought you said fucked the good fight.
Like, well,
Wow.
that is what we're talking
That's a
about.
good tagline, though.
So you're saying Andy Dufresne pushed back? He was a power bottom, guys.
Moving.
Not my Andy Dufresne.
Hashtag not my Andy Dufresne.
Somebody from Texas is listening to this right now from that town. They're like, this podcast needs to end now.
Right.
And these motherfuckers need Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill them, these demons.
And destroy them. But so if you're looking at movies for jump scares only, and
Is that
jump
what you're
scares are the
doing?
only indicator
No.
of scary to you?
It just, this wasn't scary. There was one spot that I didn't see something coming that scared me. That was one spot.
But if
the
that's
rest
the
of it,
only-
Like you're just searching for the unknown or something, like something that's going to scare you.
I mean, the rest of it was just sort of creepy. It wasn't
Well,
scary.
but that's what horror is. Like, it's not all jump scares. And actually, a lot of people in the horror community look down on jump scares. And they're like, oh, that's just a cheap scare. You know, it's the cat jumping out. You know? Like, I've heard people complain about movies because they have too many jump scares in them.
That was probably me.
we'll get to some
Yeah.
stuff that will 100% scare the shit out of you without any jump scares.
Right. And I don't think this is super scary, but I
No.
think it's disturbing. And that falls into the
Yes.
horror genre. You know,
Okay,
that's
well,
what makes it scary for
I'll
me.
agree this is disturbing.
Yeah.
But
okay.
it
And
wasn't
that's why
scary.
we classify it as horror.
Sure.
If we could have gotten a little bit more gore, then we
Yeah.
wouldn't
I
even be
think
having
that
this
would have done it.
conversation.
Like if we were forced to watch
Him
like axe hit
cut some
face
people off.
or whatever,
Yeah.
Cut some people's
that
heads
would have
off.
fucked me up. Like that would have messed me up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because I don't really do gore well either. Like I can't watch the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. Not a scary movie at all.
Oh, yeah.
but that
it's,
really happened.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
super gory and I'm not mad at them for making it that way, but because it's very, I mean,
Can't be mad at Spielberg.
it's very, I'm sure, realistic, and it was probably even worse on the actual day than it was in the movie. But it's hard for me to watch because it's so gory and
Right.
so graphic, and it's just I don't know when to stop masturbating. So like, no, I just can't handle it. But
But so we
yeah.
were talking about the movie Annihilation, though, and whether that was a horror movie or not, because I've just seen it the other day. And I think part of what pushed it over into horror for me is when they cut the dude's stomach open and they were like feeling around in his
Yeah, that fucked
intestines.
me
So
up.
the gore factor,
Yeah.
I think, put it more into the horror.
That
zone.
real fucked me up. But for me, the thing that made me think, oh, this is definitely a horror movie, was a horror movie.
Horror.
You're rolling off on me, Clint.
Oh, is he?
This was definitely a horror movie. It was definitely a horror movie because the jump scare when the
crocodile
bear
grabbed him?
No, when the bear was like, it was like really dark outside and they were
Mm-hmm.
at like the Outlook house that's like on the ground level
Yeah.
and grabs one of the
treehouse.
ladies and then leaves, right? So that scared the hell out of me. And that's when
Yeah.
I yelled, fuck! And then people started laughing at me.
So what do you think with the jump scares horror now? Huh? 'Cause we can watch Hocus Pocus then.
I've seen Hocus Pocus.
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus.
You've never seen Hocus
seen it.
Pocus?
No.
My ex-girlfriend was
Oh
obsessed with that
my
movie and cheating on
God.
me. So like I watched that movie with
I
her.
can't believe you have never seen that movie. You haven't watched it with your kids?
No,
You
I
haven't-
try to
oh my
avoid the kid
God.
movies.
Oh,
I know. I just watched Shrek for the first time.
I try to avoid
Okay.
spending time with my kids.
you're saying they watch kids movies, but you're not. You
Right,
just
I'm like
leave, you
doing
just leave the
something
room.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're watching
They're old
a movie.
enough.
They don't need me.
Are we wrapping this up, guys? I
Yeah.
think we're.
We're
I
in the
think we're
scary
good.
scale?
Yeah, so
I
like
think we're good.
yeah, let's scary scale it.
Okay,
but
so you gave it a 1.
I gave it a
Yeah.
1. This is not scary for me.
Okay, yeah, I'd probably give it a 1 also. Yeah, I mean, there was only.
This was
Yeah, there was only one part where I jumped at the same part
Yeah.
time you did.
You just
doesn't
don't
all it doesn't all have to be jumps, but
Right. But
I just was
disturbing,
not really
uneasy, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
I
could-
feel like it. If we were watching it, if one of us were watching it for the first, well, Todd, I'm talking about Jennifer and I. If one of us were watching it for the first time, maybe we would feel differently. Just the overall. I was very uncomfortable watching this the first time because I'm like,
Yeah.
what is McConaughey going to do? Is he going to
Right.
rape this dude? Is he going to kill him? What's he going to do?
Powers Boot doesn't get
Well,
raped.
so there's the 3 different kinds of scariness. There's terror, which is like the feeling of things coming undone, or like there's something behind the door and you don't know what it is, like the monkey's paw kind of thing.
Like suspense?
Right. Yeah. Or like your mind is creating something because they're presenting an idea and you don't quite know what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm real
Like
bad at that.
The uneasy feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's horror, which is, I think, was more like the jump scares. Like
Yeah.
something you see is really disturbing to you. And then there's revulsion, which was like The Ring, where you just feel so uncomfortable, you know?
And
or
where
it's
does
really
this fall?
gross.
Because this doesn't fall in any of those
I
for
would
me.
put this in horror or terror.
Okay.
I would put it more in terror because it's just like what you were saying. Like, what's Matthew McConaughey going to do? He's not being all crazy in your face, but something's up with him, and this is a disturbing situation, and something's not right here.
I'll say this: if this had the kills in it, if you saw the kills,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be a 4 or 5 for me.
Well, and that would make it a horror instead of
Right.
terror.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, like if they showed the kills and it was graphic on
I
that
like
level,
that they don't show the kills.
yeah,
though,
because then you
know?
can let your kids watch
I
this, and then you can go out and murder
stand
people.
it.
You're right.
Give me the
You want to see the
goods.
kills?
Yeah, Clint's.
I want all of it.
Yeah.
Let's raw dog this movie. If it's gonna be an R, it needs to be an R.
And it is R, isn't it?
It is
It would
R,
have
but
to be
We're gonna
R.
roadhouse this movie. We're gonna raw dog the whole thing.
Yep.
Like if you ever watch Roadhouse, it comes out in a time.
I do. Have you seen my Roadhouse poster?
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
I
a
have.
life-size picture of Patrick Swayze in
Yeah.
the Roadhouse.
Yeah,
I've never seen
those
that movie.
jeans cannot get any tighter. That wolf knuckle is real, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
But like they are raw dogging in every scene of that movie at the height of the AIDS crisis.
There's a lot of raw dogging in
They're all
80s
having the time
movies.
of their
Yes.
life, man.
Yeah, they are, and it's a life that's going to be cut short due to AIDS.
Yeah, what's that movie? Dallas Buyers Club?
Dallas Buyers Club, yeah. Also with Matthew McConaughey and Jordan Catalano.
Full
Yes.
circle.
Oh.
Yeah, nailed
Who's Jordan?
Yeah.
Who?
Jordan Catalano is fucking
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto. Yeah.
I got
Oh,
you.
okay.
But I'm making fun of her because she referred to him as Jordan Catalano
from
the
the show.
entire
He'll
fucking
always
urban
be
legend.
Jordan Catalano in
Oh
my
my
heart.
God. She
Even when
wouldn't
he's dressed like a lady.
and can't spell.
I can't.
That's the AIDS getting to your brain.
Oh, too soon, Todd. So did we scary scale, Clint? You gave it a 1?
I gave it a 1.
Hey, listeners, this is a scariness of the movie scale, not a good scale.
Right.
It's 1 is Ghostbusters, 10 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Boom.
Yep.
I gave it a 2
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I am lower than she is.
Why 2?
because I think it's really disturbing when
It is
I think
disturbing.
it's
All right.
unsettling.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a little scary. Like, he's got an axe. He's going to fuck some shit up.
He's got Otis.
Otis, yeah. There was a weird story about how he came up with the name of that axe. I think it was just...
What, like Paxton came up with the name of it?
Apparently
That's
he
fine.
found some homeless man and he wanted to give him money, but he didn't want to give him money for nothing. And so he bought his name, and his name was Otis, and that's how he gave him... I don't know. It was a weird story.
I feel like
he could have gotten that name for free.
yeah.
Exactly.
Buying a
just
name
think
for
of it.
the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
Bill Paxton should come in here and answer for that.
Bill Paxton's
we'll
dead.
raise him. Ouija boards?
Yeah.
Never a good idea.
Ouija boards don't work in my presence.
We need to show Todd The Craft. That'd be fun.
The Craft. I
Yeah.
do like The Craft.
I mean, we do
Y'all
have to talk about what movie we're doing next.
Yes, which...
We do.
Yeah, because
We
this what
do.
we're counting this as an A movie.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a B.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, you might not like it that
honestly,
much.
I think all of the A movies we've done are good movies.
Yeah.
I think all of the B movies we have done are bad movies, but they're scary.
That has been kind of a trend. You
Yeah.
are more scared of the B movies, but you don't like them, but you don't think they're as good.
No, like Urban Legends is not a good movie. Or Urban Legend, excuse me, Clint. Urban
Got an S with a
Legend.
dollar sign in
Yo,
it.
you should have looked. You should have seen Clint's face when I added an S. He was like, "You motherfucker." But yeah, so like I think that they are scarier for me. I don't know if they'll always hold up that way, but I haven't seen many scary
Yeah.
movies, so. The shitty acted movies are normally scarier for me.
Yeah.
But
Because they're the cheaper scares.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. But this is a well acted movie. It's good.
Did you enjoy watching
The
it?
twist is good. Sure, I just saw everything coming, but
Yeah.
the twist is good. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
good. I liked it. I'd probably give it like a 4 or 5 on a is it
A
good scale.
goodness
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. If we're doing that scale, yeah, I'm up there
I'm
at
not
8 or
gonna write that
9.
down. But yeah, I
Maybe
do
an
really
8.
like it.
Yeah.
Okay. We
What's
are
next?
watching Child's Play next.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but which one? Is it the first one?
We decided on the first one. We
Yeah.
were going to skip around a little bit, and they were like, nah, there aren't
I've
that
never
many
seen
Chuckies.
any
We'll watch
Child's
the first
Plays.
one.
All right.
Really?
No, I've never seen them.
0?
I always thought they
So it'll be
looked
the first time
fun.
for you too.
Son of a bitch.
First time.
Feels like the first
2 virgins next week, ladies
Nice.
and gents.
Feels like the very first time. That'll be great. Do we have to pay for that song? Shit, I'm gonna cut that part out. I'm leaving it in until we get sued.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I think we may have talked about it before, but I've already seen Child's Play 3, and it was
Yeah.
a comedy. So, like, I don't know.
This one's much more serious.
Okay.
They don't really get to the comedy until the. I mean, yeah, I guess he's still funny in the first one, but he doesn't talk much in the first one. So
I think I avoided this movie because I always got it confused with Problem Child, and that movie just looked like the worst movie.
because of USA Up All Night, because
yeah,
that's all they showed.
probably. Uh-huh. And because they both have like child in it.
All right.
Well, they both have red hair. The
Right.
Problem Child and
Yeah.
Chucky. Yeah.
And they both just
but one's a
look-
doll, right? And one's a child?
Yeah, and one murders you.
And one murders your eyes and sensibilities.
Exactly.
I haven't seen
Just
either of those
crushes your
movies, so
soul.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You will. All right, so yeah, that's it, right?
Oh, yeah, rate
so,
and review us.
Yeah, guys, so like
We're
rate
a
and
real
review
thing.
us. If you've made it this far, you like the podcast. So rate and review us and tell your friends about us or whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to us, it's at Horror Virgin on every social media platform that we're on, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I am at Todd J. Awesome if you want to yell at me for being stupid.
Yeah. Or say nice things. They can say nice things.
Well, send that to the horror virgin.
Okay. Yeah.
If anybody needs to get a hold of me, I'll be at my Hotmail account.
Yeah, it's MALE, not MAIL. So, guys, what are we doing?
We're out of here. I'm Clint.
I'm Todd.
I'm Jennifer.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.